Microphone check, check, check. 1, 2, microphone check. Microphone check. Okay. That's working. This is super jank. This is saying I'm live. Check, check, microphone check. All right. Boom, boom. Let's order this up. All right. Boom, and we're live. Good morning, everybody. I'm Tiger J. I'm having issues with my streaming software and my YouTube connection right now, so hopefully you're able to see this. And I'm live. I'm looking at Godot. This is neat. It moves when you move the mouse. Like it's a pretty cool background. There's a new Godot 4.6 release, so I'm gonna be checking that out this morning a little bit. Streaming for a couple hours. Sorry about last week. I was having issues, and I was also not feeling great, so I decided to cancel last week's stream. And I should be streaming now every Saturday at noon Eastern, all the way up until the end of March. So this last week of March, I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks or so, probably. But between now and March 21st, I think 28th is the first day I'm not going to be able to stream. I'll double check on that as we get closer to March, but I should be around for the most part and through that, and I'll be streaming and hopefully pretty regularly once I finish fixing everything after moving to YouTube. Yeah, this is kind of a hobby for me. It's not what I do full-time streaming. So bear with me while I find time in my schedule, which is extremely busy, to get things configured and make room for stuff. There's not supposed to be lyrics in any of the songs. It's kind of annoying. Can't talk over that. All right, so now that there's no background music, there's a 4.6 release of the Godot game engine, which I have yet to check out or even go through the features, so I'm going to do that the first part of the stream, and I'm going to download it now. Boom. Yeah, we'll get a copy of that downloaded. Oh, yeah, there it comes. Here it comes. All right, so new stuff to talk about with Godot 4.6. I'm going to look at that and look through this. While I do that, I'm going to keep in mind Tri-Jam. There's always Tri-Jams going on. So the theme right now is Ricochet. I might make a game. I might not submit it if I don't finish it in 3 hours, but I might use this Ricochet concept as a way to check out some of the new stuff in 4.6 today while I play around a little bit. And then before I end the stream, I'm going to review the devlogs and updates to Snekromancy from Slightly Madman. I played this on my last stream back in January when it was in a much earlier version. There's been quite a few updates since then, so I'm going to go through some of the patch notes and devlogs that they've posted related to this project. And probably check that out before I end the stream today. And that's kind of what's on my agenda. I know that Global Game Jam just happened. I haven't really checked it out yet, just to be fully transparent and honest. I should probably look into that and stream in some games from that coming up. If you do have any recommendations or any ideas of games I should check out from Global Game Jam this year for 2026, you can post them in the comments to this video or shoot me a message on Discord. Either way, I'll see them and I'll try to make a list of games to check out, as well as any other Game Jam games that you've made recently over the last year. If you want me to play through and test them and check them out, just put them as a comment on any of the videos on the channel, or send me a message on Discord. And eventually, Nightbot should start to work and send the Discord link again in chat. I've been working on reconfiguring that for YouTube. So if this is the first time you've ever seen any of my streams, or you're watching this on VOD and this has shown up on your YouTube feed, I'm Tiger J. I stream Game Jam stuff, and I've been doing that for about, I don't know, at least over 10 years or so. But I usually can only be live on the weekends. It's hard for me to make time. So thanks anyway for watching, and I'd love to check out your projects. The trick is, how do you get those to me? And right now, probably posting a comment's the best way until I get Nightbot fixed and we start to get the chat link invite posted again during live streams. I only invite people to my Discord server during live streams, and it reduces the amount of bots and spam and other kind of noise and junk that happens if there's not kind of a permanent link living out there on the internet, which there isn't. So that's how you join Discord, and that's how you submit projects for me to check out, like this one that Slightly Madman sent me a couple months ago, and I've been playing and kind of keeping an eye on it ever since it came across my desk. Moving back over to Godot 4.6, all about your flow. I think somebody in Discord recently posted about how much they liked all the new updates to 4.6 also. Let me see here. Boom, boom. I'm pretty sure it was White Shampoo over in my interesting stuff and news releases. But that's where I actually found out about it. And then Slightly Madman actually said it's so good and it looks great and it feels a lot faster. So I'm excited to check this out and see how flows improve. Let's see what the news is here. And I'm kind of jumping in a little bit blind. I knew that the update came out, but I haven't had time to look at it yet because of work and other stuff getting in the way. All right. With its stability gained over the past 5 Godot 4 releases, the engine has matured enough to enter new development phase. Godot 4.6 kicks off a period of polish, quality of life improvements, tighter integration of industry standards, and double down effort on performance optimization. The result? A release that puts you and your workflow first. The new editor theme lets your project take center stage, while dozens of improvements across the board reduce friction and speed up everyday development. Every aspect, from loading assets to editing, debugging, exporting, testing, has received some love to keep you focused on creating and minimize the time you spend wrestling with UI or fiddling with external tools and plugins. What is going on over on this screen? Hold on, we got a technical weirdness happening. Fixed it. Okay. Boom. Godot is made possible by our donations. Yep, and I'm a platinum member of the Godot Fund, and you can join too with the handy dandy link that I'll post in chat here. But if you ever decide you want to sponsor Godot, it's a great way to do it. I'll eventually probably put this somewhere in the description on my channel too, to help raise money and awareness for the engine. All right, fresh look, new focus. Oh, it looks all nice and normal, and I guess you'd call that normal. It does look different though. Wow, interesting. Okay. New editor theme, modern. Since the launch last year, Godot Minimal theme has quickly become a fan favorite with its clean lines, reduced clutter, and contemporary feel. It was time to integrate it and make it feel official! Exclamation point. Yeah, I never even checked out the Godot Minimal theme. I use a weird theme for my version of Godot. I'm kind of like I don't know, I'm an 80s kid, so it works. Is it gonna load up here? I have like yeah, this is what Godot looks like for me. It's always this kind of, I don't know, little cool. I like the way mine looks. This TriJam 353 is actually a new game that I'm working on too, which is pretty fun. And I'll post more about that in Discord soon. All right. You can now choose between the older classic and the newer modern theme, with modern theme enabled by default in Godot 4.6. The new theme, which will continue to mature with user feedback, brings subtle contrast adjustments and improved readability and spacing between UI elements. Many testers have found that it helps reduce competition on focus and gives center stage the viewport Yep, okay, grayscale, color sensitive work on your game without the blue tint altering your perception. That's probably pretty good. This whole call out here is pretty cool. I do like the way that my previous 4.5 whatever version was kind of green blue, and mine was even more harsh, I guess you'd say, or saturated with those colors, with the change that I did to the themes. And so this is pretty awesome. And yeah, I could see that making a big improvement, especially if you've done a lot of pixel or 2D art before. When you get into doing pixel art, you really realize how other colors nearby can affect how the brain perceives the colors that are near it. So I think that's really cool and a good reason, good change, good justification. Time for a test drive. Give your eyes some time to get used to the new look before you can start to notice the impact. If you still prefer the classic theme, you can switch back in the settings. All right, cool. There's a whole article by GD Quest. That's pretty neat. We put a bolt on Joel. Okay, let's see here. Do you remember when we integrated Jolt physics as an experimental option in 4.4? Since then, many of you have tested it in real projects and it's proven itself ready for production, so here it comes. Jolt is without a doubt a fantastic standalone physics engine. It's fast, stable, and it's no surprise it powers AAA games like Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding 2. We've built a tight, high-quality integration that builds all of Jolt's power, that brings all of Jolt's power directly into the engine. With this release, we're confident enough to remove the experimental label and make Jolt the default physics engines for all new 3D projects. That's cool. I'm working on a new 3D project, so I'm excited to check that out too. I don't think I've used Jolt before. Here's like a little animation of it though. And that must be what this call out is kind of showing too, is how much they like it. Neat. All right, sweet. Well, that'll be cool. My game is very simple and rolls dice, so I don't think it's going to be huge, but yeah, it should be pretty cool. All right, dock your heart out. Movable floating docks and panels. Panels, shufflers, and multi-monitor Feng Shui Masters Rejoice. 4.6 is your version. You can finally move that bottom panel. Wow, okay, I think I'm going to love this. We unified the entire docking system in this release. Bottom panels are now regular docks, and you can drag and drop docks and move them around between the sides and the bottom of the other. Most docks can also be floated. This is a significant step forward to a full workspace system, allowing you to arrange the editor in a way that makes sense for your workflow. This is pretty cool. I am a heavy multi-monitor user, and one thing that's always kind of frustrated me about Godot was the dependency on a single screen or a single monitor. Even when you can use a third-party code editor or detach the code screen and move it to another window, it has always felt clunky in the past to me and never really, like compared to other engines and other software that I've used, the docking system in Godot I've felt has always been a little bit lackluster, and this is pretty cool that they're making this update. I'm excited for that. All right, two bone. Spline, IK3D. What's going on with these bones? Back to the bone. Um, this is kind of a reference to the song "Bad to the Bone," I think. Bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Let's go check it out. Let's get the YouTube video demonetized really fast. That's fun. Bad to the bone. Yeah, George Thorogood, and here it is. Yeah, we'll just do one riff. Let's just do the hook. It's just like the hook around. Bad to the bone rift. There we go. That was enough. That should give you your ears. I think that's what this is the reference to, though. All right. Brand new IK framework. It's time to put some bone chains. Animators and gameplay programmers among us will be thrilled to know the inverse kinematics is back with a bang. You decide where the endpoint goes, and your chain of bones follows naturally. This is something that I haven't played with ever, but I think it's going to be something that I get into as I do more stuff with 3D. I'm not going to read this all out loud because I don't really understand what it's saying, since I don't play with these yet. You also find new constraints to control the twist and angular velocity of joints. It seems like they've just really added a lot of enhancements to bones. I don't use bones. I can't really give any feedback on that news, but it seems pretty neat. And I don't think that I'll have a reason to start to learn this today, but when I do, it's nice to know that there's updates to it. All right, reflections got real. This is pretty cool. Oh, look at the difference there. If you're a 3D game environment, if you are a 3D game environment, I've always wanted to be a 3D game environment, Tiger. How do I do it? All right. If your 3D game environment includes reflective materials like metal, water, and glass, things are about to get exciting for you. Screen space reflection SSR has been completely overhauled in this version, giving you a significant leap in realism, visual stability, and performance. Not only will your reflective surfaces look more realistic, with better handling of roughness, but the effect will run faster too. To further optimize, you can choose between full resolution mode for maximum quality or half resolution mode for higher performance. Even with reflections calculated at half your viewport size, the new SSR allows you to preserve decent quality. Check it out. That's pretty nice. I want to watch it go again. This video is pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, look at that. That's pretty awesome. All right. I do have a game I want to make that involves water, but I haven't started it yet, really. All right, still in like GDD phase. So what changes for you? Differences you can expect everyday development. Cool. With loads and loads of new features this release, it's not always easy to tell at a quick glance which ones actually affect what you do day in and day out and which ones don't. In practice, what differences you should be aware of most, yada yada yada. Cool, cool, cool. Choo choo choo. A node will remember. Introducing unique node IDs. Nodes now have a unique internal ID, allowing the engine to track them reliably even when scenes are reorganized or refactored. Just because you rename or remove a node doesn't mean it will suddenly forget who it is and where it comes from. So far, renaming nodes or changing scene hierarchies could sometimes break references in complex setups with inherited or instantiated scenes. With unique node IDs, Godot tracks and preserves the connections, making refactoring safer and less error-prone. This means you can restructure your scene tree freely without worrying about ending up with invalid references or unexpected behaviors. For Godot, this seemingly small improvement marks a turning point in robustness at scale and opens the door to bigger, more complex game projects. All right, I gotta say, this is a really, really cool thing. And mainly because when I was first learning the Godot engine, I did not know that changing the order or the hierarchy in my scene tree required me to go and redo all the references. And I'm a big refactoring. I like to just make a big mess of the hierarchy. And then when I'm burned out or like I'm not focused on any kind of thing that's like really exciting or I just need time to let my brain die down in the middle of a jam or after a jam, and I want to relax, I find it really relaxing to organize my hierarchy in my scene tree. So there's one jam, I totally screwed up my whole game one night in between work because I just reordered all the scenes hierarchies all over the place. And I realized that I'd have to go and update all the references in every script file of every node. And I was like, what? Why? This is right when I was starting up with the engine and stuff. And it was so frustrating. And like now I'm a lot more careful and I do I guess it forced me, Godot's lack of this type of a feature or system really forced me to pay a lot more attention to the hierarchy during the creation process, which I don't think is necessarily a good thing because your mind should be on the creation process and finding the fun and experimenting with the mechanic and seeing what's good, not having to keep in the back of your mind, oh, I got to reorganize this hierarchy. I got to make sure that this is great because if I have to change it later, it's a huge pain in the ass. So this is pretty awesome. I think if this works, if this does what I think it does in the back of my mind, which means I can go and scramble my hierarchy and goof around and move the nodes all over every way I want and not break any of those references in my related script files, this is freaking awesome. This might be my favorite part of the entire release right here, is that you can like reorganize your project without having to then refactor every freaking script file that you have. White Shampoo says peace, peace. Good to see you there. Sorry, I'm low on chat right now. I'm having to go. I'm doing this like a real getaway this morning. I guess that's not a very. And just make it worse the more I talk about it. Oh my gosh, Windows, why did you just split the screens? I'm using the chat over here. This is crazy. I don't know why that window's there, but what is this? Because I can't get my stream key to work. You can actually see my. What happened was I switched over and I linked my YouTube channel to my Twitch account that was my login with this whole Streamlabs account system is a mess, and I should probably just go to OBS or something else and get off Streamlabs as part of this whole. Like if I already have the hood of the car open and I'm breaking my entire stream, then I might as well just go and break the whole thing. Anyway, evidently Chrome lets you put 2 tabs in a window now, and I don't know how to turn this off. I just accidentally did this. How do I get... Okay, here we go. That's really annoying. Okay. I love it when there's new browser features. I was just showing you how I'm doing chat. So I'm doing chat like I'm actually a viewer right now, and that's because YouTube is super jank. Well, Streamlabs is super jank in that my YouTube account is linked through Streamlabs, and the stream is going through YouTube to start the stream, but it's not connecting to the YouTube platform, so I can't manage it at all, except for doing it this way. Anyway, that's why I'm behind the chat. This is really cool, though. All right, Godot is a library. Godot is a library. libgodot. With the new libgodot, you can now embed the engine directly into your own applications instead of running Godot as a separate executable. You can control startup, manage the engine loop, and integrate it seamlessly into custom workflows, whether you're building a specialized editor or a hybrid application or embedding Godot into a larger system. libgodot gives you the flexibility to make it work your way. The initial release supports Linux, Windows, and Mac OS and lays the foundation for deeper integrations and expanding the platform and expanded platform support for future releases. This is kind of an interesting thing too. I want to read about this. This is fascinating. Fascinating changes. All right. Getting mixed signals. Boop, boop, boop. Hidden underscored signals. Signals started with an underscore are now hidden from auto completion and generated documentation, becoming more in line with other underscored methods and properties. This makes it easier to focus on signals that are meant for public use, reducing confusion when scripting. I need to get better with signals in general. I need to play with those more. All right. What? Rotatable scene tiles. Everybody knows to rotate a tile when a tile needs rotating. Thus far in Godot, only one type of tile stood out, breaking your flow and eluding your rotational aspirations, the infamous scene tile, but no more. When you place a scene instance on a grid cell in your tile map, such as an animated chest, a glowing lamp, or a torch, you can rotate the scene tile in 90 degrees. And that's that. Oh, that's interesting. So you can, instead of having to remake your tile set, you can change it in the engine in the map, I guess is what I'm getting at. I haven't been doing a lot with 2D, and usually when I make a 2D game, I don't have a need to rotate my tiles. So this doesn't really apply to me right now, but I'm sure someday it will. It's pretty cool. I just want to select, decoupled, select, and transform modes. How many times have you accidentally moved or rotated or scaled the wrong object while trying to just select it in a busy scene? A lot. This is what taught me to start using the lock and start to lock down all my nodes when I'm working so I don't do it anymore. In Godot 4.6, we decoupled, selected, and transformed so you can now work more intuitively in the viewport. Neat. Okay. The select mode has been now renamed to transform mode, and a new select only mode lets you pick nodes without displaying the transform gizmo, making it easier to navigate and choose. Okay, so they've broken those two things out. It's pretty cool. All right, mind the gap. This must be something fancy about something technical. Bresenham line algorithm for grid map drawing. This is one that the 3D level builders among us will surely appreciate. Godot 4.6 improves how grid map painting and erasing behaves in the editor by using the classic Bresenham line algorithm to interpolate between input points. Lines now fill smoothly and solidly as you drag, so your sketches and the level layouts match your intentions on the first shot. No more gaps in tiles or blocks that you have to go back and fix. This will probably apply to me as I play more with 3D. I haven't gotten into that yet. That looks pretty fun, though. Boom. Ooh, new rotation gizmo. No more awkward fiddling with the standard gizmo that handles rotations around the camera view. You'll notice that the rotation gizmo now has a fourth handle aligned to your camera view. When you rotate objects in the 3D viewport, this extra handle lets you spin things around the view direction, a common action when you want to orientate objects relative to how you're looking at them, not just their local axes. This is probably pretty nice too. So it's just how you're looking at it. So instead of before you'd have the green, the red, and the blue rotation points, now there's a white one that is your camera's axis, which is pretty sweet. Setting the pivot point of UI elements got a whole lot easier. This is pretty sweet. So far, the pivot point of control nodes is defaulted to the top left corner, meaning that rotations and scaling happen relative to that corner. You could change this with a pivot offset property, but only accepted pixel values. This is so true, and I've done it a bunch of times. So every time you need your controller resize, you need to code recalculate. I was literally just doing this last week. So yeah. Pivot offset ratio, which lets you express the pivot point in a normal 0 to 1 range relative to the control size. That's pretty awesome. So then no matter how much you scale it, it'll keep that ratio in. That's pretty sweet. All right, click is not equal to focus. Clicking a button with your mouse or trackpad will finally no longer force the blue focus outline to appear as you would expect it to when you're navigating with a gamepad or a keyboard. You decide how to style each focus scheme independently without workarounds or hacks, whether you keep the behavior unified or you decide you don't need the focus outline when clicking with a mouse or trackpad because you know where you clicked. It's your call. So it sounds like this is to make a compromise, kind of give people the ability to do it how they want to. That's pretty neat. All right, 0 margin of error. Visual feedback for margin contained. This is also something that recently impacted me. So I'll show you real quick what I'm talking about here. Boom. I'll open a project. So this is in the older version of the editor. I was literally just I'm building a very complicated UI right now for a game. And this has been driving me insane. So this is really great. Can't wait to update. Visual feedback margin containers. No more guessing where UI is spacing. Yeah, this tripped me up bad, and I can show you exactly where it did. When you select a margin container node in the editor, you will now see its margins drawn directly in the viewport. This makes it crystal clear exactly how much space you're adding around child nodes, letting you fine-tune your layouts with confidence. Yeah, I'll show you an older version here. So this is a big layout. And here we have these dudes that are all in this margin container. And if we go into, is it theme overrides? Yeah, so these is where the margins are being set. And when I was making this, in this version, you didn't get to see the padding or the spacing, so it looked great, and then I'd have to come in. It was like trial by error. It was driving me nuts. So to be able to see this all the time would be cool. I have another big margin up here, too, with these anti-points that are up top as well. But yeah, so this, I'll show you. This is one sneak peek, but then I'm not going to talk about this anymore until it's ready. But it's going to be a cool game. I'm going to be posting this in my private channel in the Discord when it's ready. But I made these dice too in Blender. I don't usually do stuff in 3, so this is one of, my early 3D kind of thing. Oh, that one went out of camera view. You don't get to see it. But it will detect the numbers that are rolled. So 16 and an 8, and that's a 24 here. Ignore the colors and ignore everything else, but this you can click again and we can just keep re-rolling these dice. So this is a little bit of a prototype of mine, but it is something, this is the project that I was talking about recently where a lot of these things would benefit me. So especially with that margin, because these are all spaced out. This is a very UI intensive project here. Cool. All right. Bam. Editor loot drop. We get loot in the editor now. Let's see here. You can drag a resource directly into the script editor to automatically create an export variable, saving time and reducing the boilerplate when exposing properties. That's pretty neat. I think you've always been able to do that with a node, but I didn't know if you could do it with a variable. So let's see here. So these are a lot of subtle editor improvements in 4.6. The array inspector got a facelift to make it most available horizontal space, making deeply nested resources much easier to read and edit. That's pretty neat. When testing your game in the editor, new controls let you slow down or speed up the game while it's running, making it easier to inspect physics behavior. What? And fine-tuning gameplay without extra debugging code? This is cool. All right, so a lot of these new things that are in the editor, I'm going to check out with an experiment with this TriJam and Ricochet. The way TriJam works is that it's a 3 hour game jam, but it's 3 hours is purely your development time. So you can do all your game design and ideas outside of that. But when you sit down to start your project and actually code and build the game, it's the construction time is 3 hours, I guess is the best way. You have 3 hours to composite and to construct and to create the game, but I guess part of that creation, anything like abstract design, we can do outside. So anyway, that's how TriJam works. It's great for. I love TriJam. It's probably one of my favorite game jams. One, it's very dependable, unlike my streams. It's every weekend. So it's great in that sense. And then the themes are usually pretty simple, and I can come up with something small. So I use this to test out ideas and themes and new releases of engines and new things I want to try out. I'll just go to TriJam and be like, what's going on over there really quick. TriJam's a good one for that. Mini Jam's a great one for that. The Godot Weekly Game Jam is also an excellent one for that if you're doing stuff in Godot engine, because that one has a strict limit on that. I think it used to anyway. But yeah, for sure. Okay, those are some recurring jams that I like. I feel like I'm forgetting one, but oh well, it'll come to me. Let's see, what else do we have here? So I'm going to check out a few of these things today. It might be in this afternoon. I might do like an extra stream where I play around in the Godot engine and do the TriJam stuff. It probably won't be today. I'll probably be on for about another hour or so, I'd say. I'm going to check out Snekromancy pretty soon. Here, that's where we're headed. Once we get through this, we're about halfway done. Well, we might be further than halfway, so I've zoomed in. There's a new menu button in the top tab bar that shows all open scenes or scripts, making it much easier to jump around in large projects. What? I'm really excited to check this out. All right. Collision render and other layer flags can now be adjusted by dragging in the property editor, speeding up common setup tasks. Oh, okay. So like before you have to click each layer, now you can click and drag. I think that is. So yeah, small but kind of cool. You can assign or edit groups from multiple selected nodes at once, saving time when organizing complex scenes. This is pretty nice. When resources go missing due to file moves or names, the editor now lets you resolve indirect missing dependencies manually instead of being stuck. This is also nice. There's a time I accidentally moved a script file to a different node, and that kind of ruined a game jam for me. It's weird how many small things can just totally ruin a game jam for you, and how much of these nice improvements will help that from happening to other people. One is the node references back up top when we talked about node IDs a moment ago. That's huge. That's totally wrecked a jam for me before, where I've screwed it up so bad. And then I think I've totally jacked up where a script was referenced and broke it so bad that I couldn't find it in time as I was trying to submit or something. Newly created scripts now open automatically. Great. That's cool. So it's just extra clicks. This is the small things, but the small things add up. What's neat is people are going to go to the new version of Godot, and you're going to get used to all these nice to haves. And then if you ever go back to the old version, it's going to feel jarring. I can tell you already just from experience. There's so many nice changes in this version. It's going to be hard to switch back, and if you ever have to go back to the old version again, probably going to hate it. Because this seems real nice. All these little editor tweaks add up to help you stay focused building your game rather than fighting the UI and losing steam. Yeah, for sure. All right, drag and hover and drop. Switch tabs on hover while dragging. No more clicking to switch tabs and views before you drag and drop something. You can now drag, resource, and hover for the destination. Let's see, it's oh, they're showing it to you now. Okay, so visual. Clickable files in the output panel. When it's time to squash bugs, one thing that grinds you down as a dev is having to manually search for the culprit, dig out the file, scroll to the right line, and only then start fixing. But no more. Godot 4.6 brings 2 quality of life improvements to your bug hunting endeavors. You can now pop up the offending script or resource by clicking on it inside the error or warning message directly in the output panel. And what's more, if you use an external editor, you can configure Godot to open the offending script directly there. That's pretty awesome. All right, this is going to be cool to check out. Spot the difference. Object DB snapshots and diffing for live object tracking. All right. Godot 4.6 makes it much easier to understand what objects exist in your by running your game by adding object DB snapshots and comparisons to the debugger. You can now capture the internal list of all live objects at any point in your game and compare two snapshots as exactly what was created, destroyed, or left behind, tracking memory leaks or unexpected object growth with no longer required guesswork and logging. Yeah, cool, nice, all right, awesome. Yeah, I usually dump all my objects with prints. Prints was like the new, when I learned that prints existed, it's print with an S, and you could just dump objects to it and properties. That became a that's kind of like how I worked around this for a long time. But this is the logging part of that. We can now spot problems at a glance by visualizing clearly what changed over time. Yay! All right, check it out now. I think this is a reference to Funk Soul Brother. Are they all song references? No. Spot error on a wall. No, they're just all fun. Some of them are fun. The Bad to the Bone was a song reference for sure. This is a reference to Snow White and the Seven Dwarves for Mirror Mirror. It's pretty interesting to see all of the small references that are hidden in the update article. I really think this is a Fatboy Slim reference too. Check it out now. Funk Soul Brother. Right about now. Godot 4.6 brother. Alright, live previews and a quick open dialogue, brother. Remember those painful iterations every time you needed to select a texture, material, or other resource in the quick open dialogue and guess which resource would look right, select it, close the dialogue, observe the result, rinse and repeat? Those days are over too. Starting with Godot 4.6, as you move through the list, the selected resource is previewed instantly in your scene. You can quickly compare options and see the result in context and commit only when it looks right. No extra clicks back and forth. All right, let me read this again. I was like reading and stuff. All right. So it seems like when you're going through, yeah, as you're looking at the resource files, they're right there. Is this, yeah, it's pretty cool. Where before you would have to guess this, in my other 3D game, I'm trying to fix a floor and I have the texture downloaded a bunch of times, so that'll be kind of cool to play with in there. Animation. There's a lot of updates. I think maybe this is a whole lot in this release. All right, animation editor goodies. Tweaking and polishing animations has got more pleasant. In Godot's animation editor, you can now resize the length of animations by dragging directly on the timeline, letting you stretch or shrink clips in place without fiddling with numeric fields or extra dialogues. Yeah, you used to have to come up and type or expand these out and then type in all the different properties, I think. That's pretty neat. I don't do a lot with animations in the editor though, so but I probably will in the future someday. All right, patch and play. Delta encoding for patch PCKs. Frequent updaters, this is a game changer for you, pun intended. Your exported patches just got leaner and faster. Godot 4.6 improves patch PCKs patch packs by supporting Delta encoding, allowing patch files to include only the parts of resources that actually change instead of the entire files. This can dramatically reduce the size of patches, especially for projects and games with large assets or frequent small updates. For example, if you're localizing your project and adding some languages. For players, this means faster downloads and updates. For developers, it makes distributing incremental patches more practical and bandwidth friendly. Sweet. I like it. Power use the editor. Custom keyboard in the editor settings. Pretty neat. Set joy light. You can now customize LED colors on supported controllers, but this is only the beginning. Godot 4.6. What? Oh, we're gonna have to play with this. This looks cool. All right, hey, I've been horrible at reading chat today. White Shampoo says I already played with a little bit of 4.6 so far. It's a pretty smooth ride. I was very skeptical about the new design, but now I think it's an improvement. Looks a little bit more professional, and it's a little bit more stuff if it's on the screen. Yeah, yeah, nice. Sorry if I'm super late on that comment. Um, yeah, this will be fun. Like it's just like a fun thing that I'm gonna play with later probably. I got some PS5 controllers in the other room. All right, let's see here. This is only beginning. Advanced joypad features will come among releases. This groundwork opens the door to add support for motion sensors, touchpads, haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, controller information, queries like controller type, button layout, connection method, battery state. These feature capabilities will allow you to fully leverage modern controllers and set up a richer gaming experience in your projects. Cool. Faster than you can say texture. Textures in Godot are compressed by default to make your game smaller on disk and more efficient in memory, often reducing size by 4 to 6 times. Starting with 4.6, 3D textures compressed say will now import up to 2 times faster so that you spend less time waiting when importing assets and more time building your world. This was accomplished by changing the way Betsy handles RGB textures to instead convert them to RGBA on the GPU and use them directly. Neat. It's like there's some sharpening going on here. Component pruning for mesh simplifications. Godot now generates level of detail models that are better preserved. Oh, this is cool. The shape of the original object, particularly for meshes built from multiple separate parts. This ensures that distant objects in your game retain their intended form while still benefiting from performance-friendly simplification. I don't do a lot in 3D yet, and I'm playing around with it. And from what I was planning to do, I thought that these level of detail models would be something that I would have to generate and kind of make. Like I would make a highly detailed safe and then make like 4 versions of it and then set them up programmatically and have them swap in and out based off of how far away the player is. I thought I had to do all that myself, but again, I don't really do a lot of 3D. I'm playing around with it for fun now and trying to get into it more. So it's pretty neat. It almost seems like there's a lot of automated workflow involved with that process, more than what I understood. So that's cool to check out. Glow in the dark, improved glow blending defaults. Glow is now blended before tone mapping. Again, it's like 3D rendering stuff, so it doesn't have a huge impact on me right now, but it probably will in the future. A lot of different rendering changes. I'm going to skip instead of reading all of these so we can move on to other fun stuff. But tones, so lots of technical things on tones and lighting. We saw earlier that water reflections got improved. It looks like there's another improvement for reflections here too. Radiance Pros now use octahedral maps, so 8-way maps. This makes them cheaper to compute for the GPU and lighter on memory. All right, banding. Ooh, this is something I used to see in the past. Material debanding and improved HDR precision. The mobile render steps for 3D previously visible color banding made it a tough sell for projects aiming at the highest visual fidelity, but not anymore. Material debanding is now available for 3D. Enable the existing debanding project setting and watch those ugly color bands disappear from your scenes. Additionally, when HDR 2D is enabled, the render now maintains higher color precision throughout the entire 3D pipeline, preventing quality loss. Nice. Combined with all the optimizations unique to mobile render, these changes make it an excellent choice for high-performance 3D games on both mobile and desktop platforms. Vulkan Mobile crash fixes for Malai and Adreno GPUs. Godot is a general-purpose engine used by a wide variety of people on a wide variety of devices with a wide variety of graphics drivers, and not all of them work gracefully. Ensuring stability across the board is a constant effort, and this release makes big strides. Thanks to the developers of games like Rift Riff and Camaro, I'm going to totally say that wrong, sharing detailed crash logs from Google Play and giving us access to their projects. We tracked down and fixed a series of crashes affecting devices with certain Mali and Adreno mobile GPUs. If you've been seeing unexplained crashes on Android with the mobile renderer, this release should bring relief to you and your players. One fish, two fishes. Improved CSV translation support and template generation. Spreadsheet-based localization has just leveled up, making CSV files more adapted to real game translation workflows. You can now include optional question mark context columns to pass meaningful context for translators. So their same key can mean different things in different places. And question mark plural columns to find plural forms directly in your CSVs, including rules for languages with complex plural logic. In addition, Godot now lets you generate CSV translation templates, giving you a good starting point for translators and making it easier to maintain consistent exportable localization tables across languages and projects. All right. This seems like it has a lot to do with localization, and if you're using CSVs to support multiple languages in your game, which I'm not doing at the most part. More language stuff here. So yeah, that's what this internationalization, which is an interesting header instead of localization. It's almost the opposite of localization, but it's not. It's localizing the game, right? Okay, so moving on to XR. This interests me. I have a Quest 3 and I've been wanting to, and I have Godot on it, and I've set up and started an XR project, I think, in 4.5 in the past too, but the problem is time. I don't have enough time to play with all this stuff. But this excites me because I do want to get into playing and working on VR and XR projects, despite the I guess it's almost a niche market in terms of game design and game development, but it's so much fun. I absolutely love my Quest, and I play mini golf about once a week with some friends and family on it, and there's a bunch of other games I check out on there too every now and then. So I've always kind of had my finger to the pulse of the XR VR stuff since Oculus in the 2010s ish time period. Um, and I currently have a Quest 3, and I'm probably going to get the new Steam VR headset if it's already out, when it comes out, at some point when I have the time to actually dive into it. I really want to play with Godot and VR and XR a lot more than I have the time to do right now. But someday it's kind of like I'm working on a 3D game now, and as the more I play with 3D and with Blender, the more I want to like play with XR and VR too. I wish I could like take 4 years off of life and just hang out in a room and do nothing but work with Godot engine and like make the games that I want to do, and then I'd be really happy and I'd probably get all this out of my system. But instead, I gotta find time outside of day-to-day stuff and skip through it. But yeah, this is pretty cool. All right, I like how this looks too. XR editor support for Android XR devices. You can now use Godot XR editor with Android XR devices, making it simpler to test and iterate your extended reality projects directly on Android XR hardware. Instead of juggling separate tools or workflows to deploy and debug your app on a headset or AR device, the editor can now recognize and work with Android XR devices more directly, shortening the development loop and letting you focus on building immersive experiences. This is an important step towards tighter device editor integration as XR support continues to mature in Godot. All right, OpenXR 1.1. The days of OpenXR 1.1 are upon us. Godot 4.6 will now automatically enable OpenXR 1.1 features on headsets and runtimes that support it, while largely a maintenance release. OpenXR 1.1 guarantees support for previously optional features, most noticeably the surface grip pose for reliable virtual hand positioning when hand joint tracking isn't available. It also standardizes interaction profiles for VR controllers, letting you distinguish between specific controller models. The change also comes with a compatibility layer that ensures as much feature parity and possible. The change also comes with a compatibility layer that ensures as much feature parity as possible on devices where OpenXR 1.1 is not supported. Godot automatically falls back to OpenXR 1.0 and enables as many extensions as possible transparently, maximizing compatibility across devices. and then one API to rule them all. So this is more for OpenXR. But when you want to place objects on real-world surfaces, track persistent locations, or react to QR codes in AR or VR, you now get spatial anchors, surface detection, and marker tracking through the standardized OpenXR spatial entities extensions. This is the first phase of a broader effort to replace vendor-specific implementations with a single consistent API for tracking and anchoring content in the real world. While some advanced features like furniture detection still require platform-specific solutions, spatial entities give you a solid foundation that will only grow as XR ecosystems evolve. Android coming to a big screen near you. Runs exports in the editor. When exporting to Android, you can now enable an option to automatically run your exported game or app through source tree. This mirrors your connected phone or tablet onto your computer screen while the game runs on the device itself. That's pretty neat. I think this is screen copy, but I keep calling it screen because it's fun. White Shampoo left us a while ago, and I'm terrible at reading chat today. I'm Tiger J. Thanks for hanging. All right. Yeah. Pretty cool. All right. Instead of picking up your phone every time test out a change, you can stay focused where you're creating and interact with the game directly on your workstation. Okay, pretty neat. That'll be fun at some point when I get into doing some mobile things someday. Pronto Gradle, which isn't on my list of stuff, but it might be at some point. Pronto Gradle. Android Editor Gradle built support. This feature is a major win for developers working in the Android editor. You can now build Android projects using Gradle directly from Android through a companion app called Gabe, which I think I've had familiar with Gabe. Yeah. All right, which helps the editor itself. Do I know anything about this project? Gabe. No, I don't know anything about it. Something is something else. Okay, before this, you could not export apps that use the Android plugins from the Android editor. Now you can. This seems like it's a really big deal if you're on Android, or if you're exporting games for Android, which I don't do yet, but it seems like it would be important later on down the road. Get specific consent, storage access framework. Starting in Godot 46, you can provide players with the possibility to load and save specific files using the system file picker without asking for broad storage permissions. This makes it possible to support loading custom content like levels, importing data files, or exporting saves and presets in a more granular manner, avoiding Play Store compliance issues and keeping players in control. Nice. So this gives file system access, I think, too. This is pretty cool. Like, with these two things together, I might be able to make something fun. You know what I've always really liked is the Pico virtual console that exists. The Pico engine, the Pico 8 from Lexawafel, I believe. Yeah. Boom. Yeah, I love the Pico 8. And, like, you know, being able to get in the file system in and out means like you could probably like create a fantasy council Godot app or game for a device, and then you could send your save files or your cartridges back and forth. Like there's some goofy kind of fun that can be had with this, I think, later on. I've always loved how the games for Pico 8 are images, so it would be fun to create like a similar system, or maybe even like I don't know, like a Godot Pico emulator where you could load Pico cartridges in a Godot game that was built in the engine. Because with this new update and being able to access the file system, you could probably load Pico data from the image cartridge files. You just have to parse the Pico cartridge file and then convert that into runnable Godot code. And you could like port Pico into Godot and make yeah, this is getting all sorts of silly. I gotta stop talking about it because I can't stop thinking about it now. Render parity, Direct 3D 12 as the new default Windows. Okay, so with Direct 3D 12, now pretty much on par with Vulkan. The new Windows project defaults to Direct 3D 12 for more stable driver support and fewer platform quirks. This improves cross-platform rendering consistency while keeping existing projects unchanged. Abacadabra, mesh to collision shape. Until now, to get a collision shape from a permanent mesh, you had to manually choose a shape type and align it by hand. Literally a drag. Literally, yes, this sucked. Starting with Godot 4.6, whenever you mesh a simple geometric shape like a box, sphere, cylinder, or capsule, you can now automatically generate a matching collision shape 3D from the mesh menu. One more quality of life boost. This is huge. Like, this is something really nice. I like this a lot. And especially as I've gotten into more 3D stuff. It gets clunky and weird, yeah. All right, let's see here. If it requires you to say it is. Mark object parameters and results as required. This one's for you if you're already taking advantage of the GD extension to write high-performance game code and editor plugins in languages like C or C++, or the community support Rust, Zig, and more. Starting with Godot 4.6, parameters and return values in the Godot API can be declared as required, meaning nullable values are no longer implicitly allowed in those positions. This is especially helpful in languages with strict nullable optional types like Rust, Swift, Kotlin, because it helps you catch mistakes at compile time or fail clearly at runtime, right? Yes, that makes sense. The result is safer, clearer APIs with better integration of modern systems in your toolings. Yeah, so you can like require it. JSON is here, JSON-based GD extension interface. This one's mostly under the hood, but to many of you, it'll come as a great relief and open new possibilities. As of this release, GD extensions interface, the bridge between Godot and native code, is now defined in JSON instead of a C header. This makes it much easier for tool scripts and languages. Yeah, I don't have to ever read in that, but that's nice that it moved into JSON for sure. All right, get out of that function already. Script debugger, step out button. Ooh. If you've ever gotten stuck inside a function while debugging, wishing you could jump straight back to the caller, this small feature will surely improve the quality of life. You now have a step out button alongside the existing step over button and step into. Nice. Cool. So this one will let you leave the current function and continue execution point where it was called. No more manually stepping through lines or navigating the call stack when exploring complex logic or sensitive bugs. Another debugging thing. Go all Dick Tracy. Ever wonder which of your script functions is costing you in performance or which calls to Godot APIs are hogging your frame time? Godot 4.6 now lets you profile your scripts using dedicated trace profilers like Tracy, Perfecto, and Instruments. These tools give you more detailed insights than the build profiler, letting you pinpoint bottlenecks, debug lag spikes, and optimize GD script C# or GD extension code with confidence. Here are instructions to start taking advantage of these powerful profilers. That's pretty neat. Boop, boop, boop. Let's open this in a new tab. This will be something fun to read later. I've never really gotten into profiling in Godot, so maybe I will now for fun. It's written in bold. GD scripts Lisp, LSP, Lisp. It's written in bold. Gscripts, LSP, improve BBC code markdown conversions. So now when your comments include formatting like bold, code blocks, and structured text, they render more clearly in editors and IDEs that support markdown. Godot 4.6 improves the Gscript language server, so doc strings that use BBC code, BB code. I always say BBC code. I've said that ever since the forums back in the dial-up internet days too, which is probably where these, I bet you BB code comes from the forums. That I actually remember, using BB code and BB code forums back in the day. What's the history of BB code? Bulletin board code. Yeah. Yeah, BB code way back. Okay. Ah, I taught myself HTML using the old document file for an installation of a free install America Online once. That's how much I love scripting. I like scripting so much. Okay, anyway, maybe these are right. So yeah, BB code support, markdown support, and the editor for comments and stuff. I spy with my little eye. String placeholder highlighting. Ooh. This is new. This is a little bit more yellow than the regular yellow, which is pretty nice. Godot 4.6 now highlights placeholders in your strings, so %s, %d, or name jump right off the page. You'll no longer have to squint and spot missing or miswritten placeholders. This is sure to make string substitution or formatting more pleasant. Teamwork makes the dream work. Oh, here's all the peeps. Cool. Thanks to all contributors who had PRs merged in this release. Special thanks goes out to all the engine teams that collaborated on this release, especially since commits to other related repositories do not show up in this graphic. Yeah, so there you go. I can't pronounce all of these names, but I will go pretty slowly here as I scroll down. And thanks to all the people that did so much hard work on this new version of this awesome game engine that I like a lot. I like it so much that I help out every month and throw them some money. I don't have the time to get my name up in this list, but I can give them some cash. All right, almost 3 years after the 4.0 release, Godot 4 is starting to be a mature engine, including a wide array of features that enable countless developers to publish games in all genres. For example, Steam got over 1,200 new Godot games in 2025, while itch.io consistently gets around 500 new Godot games per week, including game jams, prototypes, etc. While every Godot user still has their own favorite missing feature, which they're eagerly awaiting, for the most part the engine is fully capable. But there are still so many minor roadblocks, paper cuts, workflow issues, or outright bugs which can still make the experience of developing and publishing games more painful than we'd like. So for this release, there was a significant focus on polish and usability, aiming to firmly establish Godot as an engine that you can rely upon while keeping the iteration speed, lightweightness, and flexibility which makes users love it. I pluralized that makes part there. Close to 400 contributors were involved in this new feature release, authoring 2,001 commits. And we want to thank them for all their amazing contributions, as well as all users who sponsor the development fund, reported bugs, opened proposals, or supported each other on our community platforms. Remy Verschelde, project manager. Thanks, Remy. Awesome stuff. Yay, release page credits. Beautiful. All right. Cool. And that's all the fun of the patch notes for the new Godot engine. Thank you so much for watching my stream today. I'm just kidding. I'm going to go on break really quick. Real fast, and then when I come back from break, now that we've kind of gone through all the patch notes for Godot, I downloaded a new version of it. I'm going to cherry pick a couple of things to check out off of this list and spend maybe about an hour goofing around with concept or ideas for this TriJam stuff. And then towards the end of my stream, I'm going to save some time to read through the notes of Snekromancy from Slightly Madman, and give this at least one or two playthroughs before I close out the stream. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to go on break really quick. I'm coming right back. I'm almost out of coffee. It's been an hour that I've been, and I was trying to get the stream live for like a half an hour before the stream went live, and that has a lot to do with a mess between Streamlabs and YouTube and Twitch that I need to work out. And it's kind of what set me back last week, and it's been an ongoing effort to kind of de-twitch my old stream now that I'm pretty much predominantly only going to be live on YouTube going forward. I might eventually multi-stream over to Twitch or something, I'm not sure, but anyway, there's just been a lot with that, and it's more work than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be like point the stream over at the new platform and be done with it, but because there was so much linking and other things going on with accounts, it's turned into a huge mess. And I need to work on that more when I have more time. But it's like I've got this window. What do I do? Do I go live and talk about Godot and updates to Snekromancy, or do I cancel another week and spend all of my Saturday trying to reconfigure this whole thing? So I'll work on that in between now and my next stream. I'm going to jump on break for a minute. When I come back, we're going to look at some of the new feature engines of Godot Engine 4.6. I'm going to start a new project for TriJam 358. I'm not going to probably submit this project to the Jam, but I'm just going to use the Jam's theme, Ricochet, as an idea to work through some concepts, most likely in 2D. I'm going to check out some of the new options that, as I scroll through all the 3D stuff. But I'm going to check out some of the new stuff that's in there and in the engine and the quality of life stuff, and just kind of give some comments as we play around with those features. I'll do that for about half an hour, and then for the next half hour after that, most likely I'll be playing Snekromancy. Or I might just jump in and do that instead when I come back and save the Godot engine stuff for a later stream this afternoon. So Anyway, options. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I know that I am going to put music on and go on break and stretch for a minute, so enjoy some tunes like this. Why are there lyrics? There's never supposed to be lyrics. Not track attributes. Where are my settings? Instrumental. YouTube safe. Okay. Oh, that doesn't minimize anymore. It's the world we live in. I guess we're gonna go back to stations now. Boom, 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 boom. Hip hop. Hip hop now plays jazz. It's the world we live in now. Oh, I see. I was here. And what I need to be was here. It's weird because that sounded just like that jazz song. No idea what's going on other than I'm going on break. I'll be right back. Just give me a couple minutes. And then when I come back, we're going to check out Snekromancy first. And then with any time left, I'm going to goof off with Godot engine at the end. So that's the plan now. I'll be back. I have to make coffee. Give me like 2 to 5 minutes or so. And then when I come back, we'll be checking out all the latest patch notes for Snekromancy, and I'll be giving this some playthroughs. If you missed the first half of the first hour of the stream, that was pretty much all Godot Engine 4.6 news highlights, and I was literally reading the patch notes off the page and talking about the different features and how they might impact me in games that I plan to work on. So thank you so much if you stuck around for all of that. If you want to see some actual like Game Jam or Game Jam inspired projects and gameplay and stuff of that part of my stream, that's what's coming up next after the break. So stay tuned. I'll be right back as soon as I click the right button, and then I'll see you in a few. Alrighty, coming back. Told you to be fast break. Really fast break. Let me find my right buttons here to make this happen. Okay. Look at me. I like hit everything too, so I was leaving. Microphone check. Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah. Alright. Let's go over Snekromancy devlogs. So last time I played Snekromancy was on my last stream back in the beginning of January, probably like the 3rd or the 10th or something like that. I knew I had to went out of town for I think these weeks-ish, came back here. It must have been the 3rd or the 10th, one of those times. Probably the 3rd actually. It must have been the 3rd of January. So there's been a lot of updates since then. I don't have all the logs. There's a bug fix here. Let's see here. Fixing an issue in my code that cleans up references to enemies that have died means that we're targeting them, which could have null reference sometimes thanks to Wood for reporting that. Cool. 31 days. So 1, 2. 31 days. Yeah. This might even be after I played. So we'll go back from 1.2. Let's read about that. Alright, so that was a bug fix. Then in 1.4, what happened? We gotta read these patch notes here. Small but hopefully fun update today as they spent the week and a half working on to complement the new minions added a couple weeks ago. I've added a few new enemies and rebalanced the existing ones as well. The changes: added a mimic, be careful around chests. Okay, so now there's a mimic, there's a peasant, a low risk, low reward enemy. Nice. A griffin, an enemy that can fly. Yeah, there's definitely no griffins before when I played. Okay, so there's gonna be griffins. A swordsman now only drops a red gem or a healing potion. Oh. And armored warriors can now spawn as regular spawn after the first level. So the boss dude is now like a regular spawn, I think. Oof. Coming next will be unique bosses added to each level as well as a tier 2 versions. Okay, so the main regular every level boss is now a regular enemy after the first level, and other bosses will be coming out eventually, as well as tier 2 versions of the above standard enemies for later in the game. Ooh, tier 2 versions. All right. Then we have another small but I think really good update for you today. In addition to adding a couple of new enemies, Slave Man went through and did a full redesign pass on all the item and enemy art assets. Oh, what? Fixed a lot of transparency issues, added shadows where they were missing, and replaced pretty much all item art with nicer sprites. Am I going to still call the garnets topazes? That's what. That'll be the real question. Also redid the indicators so that they no longer obscure the map, and the item icons within them are now full size, so they're easier to understand. Yeah, the indicator once blocked the edge, and I smashed into it once. That happened to me, so it looks like that's been fixed. The biggest change, though, is that I've moved most of the unit spawns into a new wave system. While there will still be a trickle of spawns from the spawners at one time, this is also now weighted to spawn faster when there are fewer units on the map, but no longer spawn when they are off screen. Most spawns will come in big waves, which the player will get a few seconds warning on to prepare. This sets me up, me being Slave Man for the dev team is Snekromancy. This sets them up for the work on the final boss spawns, which will come in the next update. Ooh. Okay. A lot of updates here. Good. So these are all changes from the last time since I played. All right. The dev team's been having a lot of fun with the enemies lately, maybe a little too much. They've added tier 2 versions of all base enemies, as well as new angel enemy with flying, like the griffin. Now there's an angel also. Also gone through and added unique boss enemies to every level, including the final one, and ended wave system for all enemy types. Full change list is below. Enemy projectiles with homing behavior. Enemy attack syncs with animation frame. Support for second attack frame. Range check before enemy attacks and minion line of sight targeting. Flying enemies skip pathfinding. Fixed wall generator solid blocks in hybrid mode. Wall generator. Oh, the wall generation probably function for the hybrid mode. It's pretty neat. All right. XP curve change to exponential boss. HP scaling change to exponential 1.3x. Boss made slightly less tough. New wave systems overhauled. Created waves for all non-boss enemies. Added max level property tier 1, tier 2 replacement system. Peasant to militia swordsman. What? Matching intervals between tiers. Balance progression from 0 to 10. Item spawning fixes. Chests not in the exit room. Keys not on the exit room edges. No duplicate item positions. New bosses and tier 2 enemies added. Alright, this is probably going to be the one that we download to check out. Oh, there's a download thing here, but yeah, we're gonna go and we'll go to the main. I think I play it right in the browser usually. Oh, there's it. I don't think was the download version wasn't always available either. This might be a new option to play the downloaded pool, so I might download the version too and play it then. All right, yeah, let's do that. Let's check it out. Snekromancy. I'll probably highlight this stream and split it into 2 halves when I crop it out and do one highlighted video VOD for YouTube that is just the Godot 4.6 updates, and then another one that is just mainly gameplay and checking out the updates for Snekromancy. But I'll have to look at that this afternoon when I get back. I do have a nice window of time this weekend to do some and give the stream some TLC. So I've been slowly working on pointing Nightbot back at the stream and starting to get the Discord notifications back. And then there's some other kind of things I need to take care of that are technical under the hood. But what I'm getting at is I'm going to have some time to start editing videos again someday, which will be fun. Because that's my biggest challenge in life is time. All right, let me just move this over here. Yep. And move this over here. Boom. Oh. Yeah, let's run it. Here we go. Let's get in some Snekromancy. Just Snekromancy. Yes, we've read through all the patch notes, so we know that the boss is gonna. I'm glad I read the notes. Can you imagine what it'd be like if I didn't read the notes first? Oh. Oh, I love it. All right. Alright, I'm ready to play some game. I don't know that I remember my controls either. But I think it's just WASD. Maybe it's just arrow keys. Ooh, what snake do I choose? Alright, green snake is the Zombo. I think we'll just go in order. We'll play every snake at least once. Zombo run. Zombo run. Alright. Welcome, Snekromancer! The stupid elves are attacking your tower. Your only chance is to transform into snake form, gather as much treasure as you can, and retreat to the top of your tower. Collect the most coins by level 10 for a high score. Your snake form decays rapidly. You have to eat constantly to maintain it. If you eat, you will grow. But as your health decays, you will shrink and eventually die. Collect gems to upgrade your powers, and you'll be able to summon undead minions who ride on your back and shoot your enemies. You must collect all the keys on each level before you can climb the stairs. Let's go! I'm a snake man, I'm a snake man. Wow, yeah, visually this game is totally different. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. I'm like distracted by it. Zombo Speed Plus. Zombo. Skeleton. Do I want to up the speed? Oh, I could. Second one or up the speed? We'll go 2. We're building an army. I think it was a health potion. I think it was. Get out of here. Get out of here, dog. You don't know me. I don't know how. What's my snake's health right now? I don't know if I want. That's how much gem power I have. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna go. We'll speed up. Zombo speed up. That's a health potion. I think what I got before was a speed potion. If there's only 2 potion types still. Peasant Rush imminent. I want to see the Peasant Rush. Oh, this is so cool. Alright. I wonder if I can still die if I hang out before the level starts. We're gonna have to try that. I'm gonna turn the sound down just a little. I'm doing it through the mixer though, like not through the game settings, just so that way I feel like I'm hard to hear over the music, and that's nothing. That's my setup, not the game setup at all. The game's music's perfect. All right, Skeleton with a strong short-range attack. Or just the snake can go. Let's speed up the snake. All right, bam. Oof. All right, we better get going here. It's time to leave. Time to go. Oh, pardon. Oh, that bread. All right. Total score 47. All right, level complete. Souls reaped 37. Gold gathered 1. Okay. Spooky boy goes with a homing attack. Zombo. So I have 1 coin. I think we're gonna go with Spooky Boy. Or let's go to level 2. I don't even need anybody else. I got all this bread. I need you guys. Whoa, the speed potion is really speed. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, that was my first new speed potion. Holy crap. Alright. More range on the zombos. Oh, that was neat. We were kind of stopped after that. Oh, let's see here. So yeah. I don't know what the black potion is then. There's a new potion type, and I didn't catch it in the patch notes. The red potion is the heal potion. The blue potion is the speed potion. What's the black potion? Maybe an attack potion? Choose an upgrade. We will go with let's up the snake speed more. Every time we turn the snake, we shift gears. It's a big gem. Oh, look how much gem points that got us. Get out of here. I like the new wave system. Is that the boss? This must be the boss. It's like a little princess of death or something. Or a red-headed death king. Maybe it's a beard. I can't tell if it's like an angry princess or... We're going up. Zombo damage. We need more damage. We have the hordes. Just rolling through town. Don't mind me. I'm gonna run out of... Yup. Saw that coming. Uh-oh. I should go find some bread quick. To the bread. Bread life, dog. There's the coin that I need. Yes, I do need that coin. You'll never get me, peasants. Pardon me. Time to go. Alright, next level. Spider with an attack that slows the enemies, or do we want Vlad with the explosive? Or another zombie? Let's go with Vlad. He'll be first. Alright. Oh, we can sell him for $2 too. Boom. Here we go. Yeah, that's right. We got... Oh, the speed potion is so fast. I like it. It's just... I was not ready. I love that Vlad still turns into a bat. Alright, let's do more damage from the zombos. I think this is like an attack potion, maybe. Both keys are down here. There's a lot of stuff down here. This is like a big treasure room. Look at this. Boom. Okay, let's max the health up right away. And we're gonna grab this health potion too. That must be the boss. Oh, yep, the boss is fighting me now. Bam. There's a new green gem. Okay. Let's go with even more range. I'm gonna shoot really far from now on. I don't think we have to leave yet either. We can. Oh man, pikeman formation. Oh boy. I'm leaving. Time to go. Did I get another? I don't think I got another coin that turn. Ooh, there's a nightmare. A death knight with an orbiting attack? Okay, sorry, Vlad. I was gonna drag him to sell him. Sell him here and go back to shop and upgrade. A death knight with an orbiting attack. I'm so interested in this. Alright. There it is. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Death Knight damage. Or is this the speed? Is this the speed that it flies around him in circles? Goes up? Oh, I wonder if that's like how fast it rotates. Yeah, you don't want to get near this. I'm the Snake Master. Let me go get this bread real quick. Oh, I missed the bread. Okay. Death Knight range. I'm like fascinated by the Death Knight options here. Oh, I said no to that. I almost want like a temporary boost button to push. When I wanted to go to that bread or down to get that gems to the bread, I'm like I want to boost. Do I have like a rush button? Snake rush. Ah, I meant to go down. Oh boy. Alright. We need to get out of here. I feel like that was the boss from the second one. I think that all the bosses come back once you kill them. There's the stairs. Here's the last key. Alright, we're about to fight the last boss here. Let's get this health. Let's plow over those. Oh yeah, the Death Knight attack there was great. I think the angel was the boss. Oof, I'm getting beat up really bad. Time to go. Time to go! Level 4, okay. Ooh, a glitch. It's a lich with a spitting attack. Man, I don't know. I kind of like the Death Knight. I'm not getting more coins too. I need to get more coins. Let's go to level 5. Keep your eye out for coins. Anyone's got to look for coins. Where the coins at? Boom. There's a coin. We found a coin. Oh, I just hit a parked car. Alright. Coin! That's right. You get eaten by my Death Knight attacks. Let's go with even more range. We'll have a whole army of them soon. Get ready to go fast. Ooh, felt like it was fast. Ooh, no, it's still it's super fast. More Death Knight damage. Two more keys to get. I just want to kill that stuff. Important. I feel like I've got a lot of snake right now, so I feel real safe and secure. There's 2 keys on the mini-map to go grab. Get this, whatever the black potion is. I'm pretty sure it's an attack potion. I see the way down to that bottom area. It's going to be this way. Ugh. Ooh, I hit myself. Okay. Free food or zombos? I think we're gonna just get the speed up on the zombos. So we have 3 of them. Boom. Boom. Get that bread from down there. What is this? Oh, this must be the boss flying towards me. Is it a helicopter? Am I fighting a helicopter? Run for your life! Oof. Face tank it. Oh my gosh! Getting wild out here. I'm going for the spread. So, this is crazy. I love where this game is going. Oh my gosh. I tell you, I never felt like this when I played it about a month ago. Run for it. I just need to get out of here. I didn't beat the helicopter boss. Why is there a helicopter attacking me? Alright, going to the next level. Hello, I am new, so I was wondering what the game name was. Oh, awesome. Sorry if I'm bad at chat today. There's an issue with my encoder. This is a good test to see if the game runs while I'm playing it, though. The name of this game is called Snekromancy, and it's free to play right now on itch.io. Let me put a link to it in the chat if you want to check it out. It can run in your browser or you can download it. It's from a developer named Slightly Madman, who's a member of my Discord community and a regular viewer of the streams here. But it's currently in development, and there's I'm getting like, what's making the extra noise there? I think it's just me over here. Oh, it is running. Yeah, so it's cool if you don't move right away. This is a thing that happened in the past too. All right, you can kind of hang out idly in there. But yeah, anyway, thanks for coming by and checking out the stream on the channel. My name's Tiger J. I stream Game Jam games and game projects that came from game jams. Been doing that for about 10 years on Twitch, and I just started streaming on YouTube recently this year. So I moved over to YouTube, and right now I'm playing Snekromancy, so by Slightly Madman. The game is it's kind of like you're playing Snake, but you put together your own team of minions that surf on your back as you get food, and you have to get enough keys to get out of the level. It's a really, really fun game, especially if you like Snake or the customization features of a building game, stuff like that. Sure. Leveling up, getting new abilities. It kind of has a little bit of a bullet hell kind of feel to it, along with a dungeon crawler. And then, of course, Snake. But yeah. Ooh, I need to get that bread. So bread gives you another segment of your Snake and refills your health. The red potions refill your health, and all of the gems fill up your XP up here, and when this fills up, you get a new ability. You can also get a new ability when you discover a treasure chest, like this one over here. So, in a second, I need one more key before I can get out of this level, too. It's probably gonna wipe, I just drove into myself, like a fool. But yeah. Alright, yeah, you got it? Cool, awesome. Thanks for coming by the stream, and thanks for checking it out. I'm still working on moving my stream over from Twitch, so some things are rusty every now and then, but eventually there'll be a bot in chat when I'm live, and that'll post links to the Discord server for the stream and for the game development community. So a lot of the people that watch my stream also make games, and I make games with the Godot game engine, and I used to stream my game development on Twitch, so all that stuff. Yeah, I really appreciate you hanging out, though, and checking out the stream, for sure. Alright. So I have a Death Knight on my back. This will increase the damage of the fire that the Death Knight has, but I have all those zombos. I have 3 of them that are shooting. They have really far range. I'm going to up their damage to see how that does, because I can shoot. I think a lot of these peasants down more. Yeah, if I can start to one-shot them more. I'm probably going to wipe on here until I find that key, though. There's 3 different snakes that you can play, and this is my first run with the green one, but it's going. We got to speed up. Get this bread. I'm just gonna start plowing through stuff to get what I need. The angels are coming for me. Just left, just running for it. Alright. I've got 4 coins, I can buy somebody new. I think we'll go with another Zombo. And then over here you can rearrange, so if I wanted the Death Knight's fire attack to be more in the middle of the snake, I could go back here, but I like it in the front, so I'm leaving it up top. Going to level 7. Alright, we're getting some bread. Like one does. Kill that guy, get some more bread up here. Went right by a coin. Let me actually try to get some of these keys. 2 coins here. I'm gonna go real fast this time and try to focus. Yeah, and again, sorry if I'm bad at catching up with chat today. It's I'm still getting my streaming setup switched over and all that jazz. That's a big gem, a lot of XP on that green gem, and green's my favorite color, so you know there's that. Hey, look at all these keys. Like, somebody just left all the keys here. Got another piece of food. Delicious. Got some more gems. Awesome. I want that bread. I'm going for that bread. Got it. Oof. Alright, 2 more keys to get. Bread. Bread. Oh. There we go. Boom. Okay. Just need to get my way over to that other key, which I think is all the way back on the other side of the map. I'm probably... Oh, it's a mimic. Holy crap, that's new. So that's part of the patch notes that we were reading at the beginning of the stream, that they've added mimics to the game. Ooh, free food. I gotta take the free food. This is the way up to that missing key. Sure of it. Alright. This is actually kind of working out. Even though I had to backtrack everywhere. Ooh, hit a wall. Woo! Alright, let's go with it. We'll get another one. Oh, I just hit 2 walls. This is not good. Alright, the damage is real. There's nothing good over here. Go. Run. 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 Is this the way back? This is the way back. Got lost in the maze. Oh, there's the boss. There's the mimic. I'm just running for my life. Woo! Hello says, I'm watching the gameplay and it's very interesting. Yeah, I really love this game a lot. It's really fun. I'm a big fan of Snake games, and Slightly Madman has an older game that's on Steam called Tower Escape. So the developer that's making this game and working on it right now has another project from a few years ago called Tower Escape, where you're trying to flee a tower, and it's just crazy fun. That one's on Steam. And I played that when it was still a jam game also, and I ran the game jam and was the host of that for the original submission for that game too. So that's how we kind of met each other too, and how they found my community here on I almost said on Twitch, now on YouTube, but yeah. All right, so I think I just hit a treasure chest. I need to pick something. I'm gonna go with another. I'm just going full Zombo on this run. Oh no, this is the shop. Here we go. I ran for my life. There we go. All right, boom. We're getting the bread now. I'll tell you that I never made it this far about a month ago when I was playing. I couldn't get past like level 4 or 5, I don't think. Damn. Got some health in. Boom. I'm so worried about the mimics now. Alright, let's go with Death Knight Speed. I think this might improve the rate at which the Death Knight casts the fireballs, in which they respawn also, which would be good, because when they disappear, it takes a while for them to come back out. Alright, boom. We need bread. We need bread real bad. We need some snake bread. Snake bread? That was not the way for the snake bread. We need to go back to that. Oh. I'm almost down to just the Death Knight. Here we go. Oh yeah. Boom. More bread. More bread. There we go. Bam. Alright. Oh! Now I gotta go get this bread over here. And then this key. Alright. Oh. There's a big mech boss. Oh, why? Why? There we go. Next level. Okay, we're up to 6 coins. I got some money. Look at all these zombos. I could sell a few of these off and upgrade if I wanted to, but I think I lose all the bonuses. We can re-roll for a coin. I don't think I want to re-roll anybody else. Oh, wait. We can combine these now. Okay. That's a new feature, too. You can combine them in test. Hello says, I also have a game jam this month and I'm kind of a beginner. So do you have any suggestions for what genre or type of game I should go for? Like a 2D, 3D platformer or something? Yeah, so what I would, I'm gonna mute for a second. But what I would do if I was starting a new game jam, or if you were new into game jamming and kind of a beginner, for me, it's easier to work in 2D than it is in 3D. Now, if you really want to make 3D games and that's like what your focus is, then I would say just start on that path, and try to come up with some simple 3D kind of game design ideas. I can share some stuff too. But if you stick, for me, it was a lot easier to get into game development and game design by starting off with 2D. For one, to make the 2D sprites takes a lot less work and time and effort and energy. Usually to just draw something in 2D is pretty easy. And so for your game jam and for your artwork, you can crank that. That doesn't turn into such a bottleneck, especially if you're getting into game design and game development and game jams at the same time. Game jams have a lot to do with planning your time and trying to use that time as efficiently as you can, in order to be able to, create your game for the competition or for the jam and submit it. And so a lot of times what I'll do is take a really simple idea and then focus on what I already am good at, some of the skills I already have. So for me, like 2D art was already a little bit easy for me to do. If you're working on a team, then work with your team. But that would be my general advice when you're trying to determine the difference between, like, should you do a 2D platformer or a 3D platformer? The work involved with modeling, rigging, and texturing all of those 3D characters, or even if you use a utility like Mixamo to go and download the models and bind them to a bone structure in something like Blender before you bring it into an engine like Godot, that workflow takes a lot of time to learn. It takes a lot of time to implement also, in a game jam. And so it might be a lot easier to start off with something more 2D. That's where I would kind of focus there. There we go, got the sound back. But yeah, and then for me, I help support the Godot engine, so I'm kind of biased to it in that sense, but I'm a big fan of the Godot game engine also. That's my engine of choice, usually. All right, let's go into the level. But yeah, hello, if you're interested in that stuff too, there's also, I'll put it into chat today. Let me get this here. But if you ever want to check out, this is the Discord link to my kind of game jam community's Discord server. If you ever want to come there and check out, it's kind of slow as I'm restarting the stream over here on YouTube, but you can always join. And in the future, Nightbot will post this link during live streams too. But the only people that are in this Discord server that I just linked to in the chat are other people who are doing game jams and making games also. So it's a really fun community and really friendly too if you ever want to join and ask any questions. And then I can talk to you more about the game jam that you have coming up, or I could also help you with 2D and 3D stuff too. But yeah. So we just combined all of those. We're going to go, this is our first level with our combined Zs. Combined Zs. Alright. Man. Alright, we need keys and bread. Keys and bread. And then when you do your game jam, hello, you got to bring it by and share it with me, so that way I can check it out, because I want to play it, for sure. That's pretty much all I stream on Saturdays, at 12 o'clock noon Eastern time is usually when I'm live here on YouTube. It's typically every Saturday unless I'm out of town or I'm having some sort of technical difficulties. And the reason for that is a lot of the people that I stream with and that do game jams with live in Europe, and so 12 o'clock noon Eastern is a really good time for people over in Europe and here in the US, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. Otherwise it ends up being like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning when when I stream. If I stream at like 5 in the evening US time, that ends up being really late for people over in Europe to be able to watch. So I try to pick a good time for everybody, and that's 12 noon Eastern. I do travel about 3/5 of the year, so my streams sometimes are not on the weekends. And the Discord servers where I always tell people about that. So to stay up to date in what's happening, that's where we go. I'm going to totally wipe and die on this run on level 9. And I'm okay with that. This was a blind run, first time with these new patch features in. There's a lot of different enemies. There's a lot of changes. I'm going in circles, and I'm kind of more talking now than anything else. So I'm going to smash into a wall and die. And I'm going to try out another snake here. Oh, I got an upgrade. Let's go to max health. I joined the Discord and definitely send my submission there also. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll check it out for sure. I play about 1,000 games a year of Game Jam games. So maybe not 1,000, probably like 200 to 300 a year. There in 2018 or 2019, I think I played 1,000 though. So that's in my head. I'm always like, I play 1,000 a year, but it's really probably only about 100 to 200 a year. No, don't be sorry. This is my whole stream's about hanging out with people that are into game jams and doing game dev stuff. I'm just checking out the patch notes for Slightly Madman, and they're not even here to hang while I'm doing it. So it's no problem at all. But yeah, for sure. For me, like, let me show you my profile here. So this is me on itch.io, and we can go way back in time, but even before this is when I first came back to doing games, and itch.io existed. When I used to do game jams, there was no itch.io way back in Ludum Dare, like 22 or 23, and we're talking like 2010 probably, or 2012, somewhere in there. 14, 15 years ago is when I started to do game jams and like submit. And my first game jam game ever was like this little game called Chicken Snatch, where there's a fox and you try to eat chickens. The theme was 10 seconds, so you had to eat a chicken every 10 seconds, and it had the graphics and the sound of like an old Atari game, and it looked a lot like the original Mario. I'll try to show you an example. I'll share with you my first game jam game and some of my first game jam projects, so you can get an idea of what I started off for that was kind of easy and stuff. I think that there might be a video of it on here somewhere on YouTube. Let's see. Here it is. So yeah, 12 years ago. I was close. This is probably my first game jam game, and it was for Ludum Dare 27. There we go. I don't even have this website anymore, so you can't even play it. I did find the source code for this game recently on an old hard drive, so I do still have the source for it. This game was made in JavaScript back in 2011 or 2012, and this is my first game jam game, hello, that I ever made. This is the first one I ever submitted, and you can get kind of an idea of, it actually might be the second one. There's another game, I don't know which one I did first. It's either this or Run Run Amoeba. One of those two games, but they're both JavaScript games that I made in JavaScript. But here, this is a very short video, but you can see the mechanics are very simple. You run as a fox. I don't even think there's sound coming through. But you run as a fox, and you have to eat the chicken and then go into a hole. There was music, I think, or I think there was background music, and I had sound effects in there. It was really important to me. And then your life fills back up whenever you get a chicken. This was made with the Impact.js game engine back in 2012. And that engine is, I think, now open source, but at the time, I had to have a license for it. And it was before Godot was around and before Unity supported 2D. So there wasn't really a good 2D solution to make games in a big commercial engine back when I made this, other than the Impact.js engine. And I'm hashtagging it there to try to get some internet hype, as I was young and upcoming back in the day. A lot less wrinkles, a lot less gray hair too. This is me back in the day. But yeah, for sure. Anyway, this is my first game that I ever submitted, and I tried to stay simple and just do something that I knew I could complete. And so I worked first and focused on the mechanic to the theme. So the theme was 10 seconds. And I was like, all right, well, let me make sure that you can like kill a chicken and get back to a hole within 10 seconds. And once I got that working, I started to just design the level and kind of make it so it felt more interesting. Now the game was way too hard. Nobody could play it except for me because I was the one that made it and I knew where everything was. Those are just, and like the difficulty curve and how to make your game start easy and get harder as people play it, and finding that right feel will come a lot with experience. So like my advice would be, make this your first game, or make this like one of your first game jams, or stay a beginner, but don't get discouraged. And as you practice and as you do more and more submissions over time, those feelings will start to come naturally, and you'll be able to like start to build stuff out a lot. But play testing your own game and finding other random strangers to play test your game, so you can see how much they struggle. You'll be very surprised. The first time you make a game, it's super easy. You play, you're like, oh, this is great. And you show it to somebody and they can't even figure out the buttons right away. You're like, how are you so bad at my game? And it's a lot different if you're the one that makes it. The game's just a lot easier for you. How much time did you take to build a game? And it's very impressive considering the old engines. Thanks. Yeah, this game was made in 72 hours for Ludum Dare 27. So it was made in 3 days. And I don't think this had any music. I think this game only had sound effects, but I did all the art and the sound effects and everything for it, except for the title screen. This was done by somebody else, did the title artwork that was kind of on my team. But yeah, you could tell there was no itch.io because you had to self-host back then. So like you had to kind of be able to have a website and be able to put your game online for people to be able to get it. It was such a different world back then before itch, like being like, oh yeah, here's this one. Let me show you Run Amoeba. Also, this might also, man, I'm thinking this might be the first 13 years ago. Yes, this one's older. Ooh, yeah, all right, cool. All right, so I was wrong. Chicken Snatch was my second. So what we just looked at was the second game my second game jam game I ever submitted was what we just looked at on that video. And on this video here, this is the first game I ever did. You'll see some similarities. What's cool is this one I actually used a subdomain, which is pretty awesome. So I put some more work here in that. But this game, you are literally just running away from a collider. So there's an object coming from one with a velocity that gets faster and faster, and the player is just 2D platforming, and they need to learn the level, and there's a item that they can collect that's DNA, and if they pick up the DNA, it slows down the wall that's going to kill them. Let me explain to you why that's all like that, though. So this is the first Game Jam game I ever made called Run Amoeba, and the theme was evolution. So you start off as an amoeba, and the sedimentary wall of fossilization is chasing you, and you're trying to collect DNA, and every time you get a piece of DNA, you kind of evolve, and that slows down time from killing you and fossilizing you, essentially. So that's the concept behind it. It's kind of like an abstract on fossilization and evolution, and the theme was evolution. So here you go. This is my first ever Game Jam game, though. Here. Eventually it'll start. Come on, let's go. Here we go. So you can see the walls creeping, and then I put this little mini map up along the top so you can start to learn. But again, this is the first Game Jam game I ever submitted, and this I really learned that people don't like having to learn a level over and over again by trial and error. And that's what this whole game is it's nothing but failing over and over again until you memorize the entire platformer. So it taught me that. There was one person, at least one person, who absolutely loved how hard this game was, though. And I'm making it look easy because I'm the one that made it, so I know where all the DNA is, and yeah, but it's a fun time. I think the same person who did the artwork on the Chicken Snatch game that we just looked at was the person who drew the amoeba character here. They either did that or they drew some of the stones that you see in the tile set. They helped on this one also, though. That's another important thing. I had somebody with art skills helping me a little bit when I was first starting out. I do all my own art now for the most part, especially when it comes to game jams. But when I was first starting, I needed to be on a team. I needed to find somebody to help do some of the pixel art and stuff for me. I could do all the coding fine, but it would just be like a rectangle, and there's definitely developer art. I think I drew the tile set for this one, though, and the background. So I did do a little bit of the art on this. And I'm pretty sure that person did the sprite. But yeah. Anyway, hello, thanks for checking it out and thanks for joining the Discord. Let me know more about your game and your jam coming up and share your jam with me when you're done, and I'll definitely check it out on the stream for sure. And I'm actually at a good time where I need to call it for a day. So thank you so much for watching also, and thanks everybody. I'm Tiger J. I've been live for about 2 hours today. It's Saturday, February 7th, and this is the regular show for me. I'll be live next Saturday at 12 o'clock noon Eastern time. We went over all of the release notes in great detail and length at the first part of the stream for about an hour. I'm going to split that off into a separate video here for the YouTube channel and post that separate. And then I looked at the updates from Slightly Madman on their project Snekromancy and gave that a playthrough. I didn't play the other types of snakes, and I might check that out later tonight or on another stream between now and Saturday, but I'll update Discord for sure. Hello, also wanted to see if I could go for a different type of game other than platform. Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. You totally can. And I'll show you. Here's something I did in 3D. This is more of like an arcade style game. I put this together, when was this published or whatever, more information. This is back in May, about 6 years ago. This is the first Game Jam game I ever did in 3D. And to keep it simple, I used really basic controls. This one's made in Unity. Playing my own games here on stream. Shoot red things, collect blue things. All right, and so the direction buttons will defend a base, and the fire button fires a capsule. I think I remember how to play this. Let me see here. Yep, shoot. Is it shoot? All right. I don't remember how to shoot though. Oh, is it just the mouse? Okay. Okay. So you want the blue squares to hit the circles, but you want the red cubes, you want to shoot those with the square. Or maybe you want to collect them. There it is. So you only shoot the red ones. That's how this game works. It's very, very basic. If you... I should stop talking. And there's no limit on how fast you can fire either. This game, though, is just not a platformer. This is more of like an arcade experience. It's what I'd call like a scoring game. I'm an 80s kid. I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the 80s. And for me, I used to go to a lot of arcades and play weird games. You'd put a quarter in, and like this would be what you'd do. You'd try to shoot the red things and not the blue. And it's very basic button mechanics. It doesn't have a big story or anything, but it does have a leaderboard and a score and a number of lives. This was me experimenting with 3D for the first time and figuring out how to put 3D objects in the engine and how to texture them and how to add textures to 3D objects. So it looks very rudimentary, but it's still playable, and I'm pretty good at it. Other people complain because you can't see what drops in the front like that. That's the cheap way you die. Something falls at that forward one. Maybe if I play tested it more before I had to submit the jam, I'd remove that and just leave the 3, the 2 to the side and the 1 to the back, and do something else that would probably increase it. That was the hugest complaint. Everybody was super pissed off about that, and you'll figure that out soon. Like when you do your game jam, there'll be like one thing, and everybody will comment and say, "Oh, this thing in the front, it's so annoying." You're like, yeah, and that's the best part. Don't get upset when everybody complains about one thing in your game jam game. Be very, very happy because you found something to work on. It's like, oh, I can learn from this. And that's a really, really great thing. So don't take the criticism negatively. Take it as a really good positive thing when people complain about your game jam game, and what they complain about. Those are gems. That's treasure. Like that's the whole point. I'm gonna definitely check out more of your projects. So yeah, peace. Yeah, take it easy. I have to head out too and take care of some stuff. So I'm gonna run now. But I will be on next Saturday at 12 o'clock noon Eastern time. So, and you're in Discord. So if there's any reason I change that, you'll see updates. And sometimes I go live and do like spontaneous, like surprise streams. Those will happen more this year than they did last year. And those will get posted in Discord also for sure. Have a great week. Good luck on your project. And everybody else watching, take care. And if you're watching this on VOD, feel free to shoot me a message in Discord if you have a new project or if you have a game jam game. Put it as a comment on the video or bring it into Discord and share it with me, and I'll make sure to take a look and get into my queue of stuff to check out. All right, I'm Tiger J. Have a great